Hi, and welcome to the first part of how to plan your reopening campaign. I'm Zolly, one of the founders of ClueQuest, one of the first and biggest escape room venues in the UK. So I know how tough it has been to be forced to shut your leisure facility. I'm so psyched that indoor entertainment venues are now set to reopen soon. Not just as an owner of such a business, but on a personal level too, so we can soon reunite with our loved ones in person. As there are going to be thousands of other businesses reopening all at once, it is imperative that you don't miss out on the early rush either. So I'm here to help you plan the perfect reopening campaign with this 4-part video series. The examples I bring will be mostly using my escape room background, but you can easily adapt this plan to any leisure business, from bowling alleys through restaurants and pubs to immersive theatre, just to name a few. Let's have a quick overview of what the series will cover. In this video, part 1, we will discuss the targets and results you want to see from your campaign. I will show you how to find a perfect marketing message to get your different types of audiences rushing back to you. How this message translates to all the different mediums like newsletters, blogs and social posts. And finally, we will have an overview of the schedule. In part 2, we will cover the promotional offer. Because people will be bombarded with discounts and deals, you will have to find your perfect offer too. So we will uncover how to put a deal together using merchandise and discounts. We will also talk about how to offer something for those who can't or are not ready to return yet. And finally, we will look into the cross promotions you should be running with the businesses around your location that complement what you do. In the third part, we will dissect your email list to find as many data points as possible. Then I will show you how you can use these data points to deliver a personalized message. From simple things like a date of their last visit to a photo they've taken on site. And finally, in this episode, we will talk about how to use these data points to apply to the messaging in your landing pages. The fourth episode is all about scheduling and the delivery of your campaign. When to send your newsletters, when and what to post on socials, which ads to run, and how to target the right people with them. Each episode will be 1 week apart, so you have time to work out the details and apply the learnings from these videos. To save you at least 40 hours of work, I've also created a toolkit with templates, schedule and content planner, calculators and a 5th episode that you can grab for £97 from my website. This will also give you early access to the rest of the series if you want to get a head start. I've left a link in the description below. Great, without further ado, let's get started. When you're planning a campaign, the very first thing to set out is what you want to achieve with that campaign, which is crystal clear in this case. You want bookings. So the question is not what you want, but how you can achieve it. And to do that, you will need a well-defined goal and a marketing message that resonates with your audience. Let's start with setting a target. Although you know you want bookings, it is very important to have an actual figure on how many bookings you're expecting from your campaign. This is important for 2 reasons. First, it will help you to define the maximum budget you should be spending on this campaign. And second, because it will help you to see whether your campaign is successful or not. If the target you have in mind, I want as many bookings as possible, that will always feel unattained unless you sell out completely. So it is imperative to put an actual figure on this. And you can do that in 2 ways. One way to find your target is to go from the cost angle. Take the figure of how much it is costing you to run your venue, which you have probably figured out down to the penny through the lockdown. Then add on top the employee costs for dealing with the bookings, like hosts and customer care, ingredients if applicable, plus the campaign budget, and voila! You have a minimum target you want to achieve. So let's say your empty running cost is £3,000 per month. Each booking costs you £25 in host fees, plus another 10 minutes is spent with each booking by customer care and maintenance as an average. You spend £2,000 on permanent staff, and you have a further cost of £5 in consumables. So this means that if your average booking is £80 including VAT, then you need 97 bookings to break even. The other way you can set a target for your campaign is to look at past occupancy rates. Pick a month that you were happy with in the past and set that as a target. Look at the same time period and try not to pick one that's your all-time best, to stay on the safe side. If you go with this approach, you should still figure out your break-even point. This way you will have a minimum point you want to reach, a point that can be considered as overachieving, and finally you can set an attainable target in between. Now that you know the results you want to see, let's start building the marketing message that will help you to achieve this. In the leisure industry, we are all selling memories to our customers. Whether you are an owner of an escape room like me, own a bowling alley, a restaurant, or an immersive theater, you're in the business of creating shared and memorable experiences for your customers. Your product of an escape room experience, fine dining, or a pub night is just a vessel to create these memories for your customers. So how do you turn this into a message? First, you have to look at your product through the lens of its features and the emotions it creates. You're probably very much aware of these, but it will help you to create a relatable message that sells, so it's important to pin them down. Let's look at escape rooms as an example. The features most escape rooms have is they have a set design of an exciting place that you wouldn't have access to as an everyday person, like a space station or pirate ship. Customers have 60 minutes puzzle-filled fun, which requires the team to work together, and they are looked after by a host. The emotions it creates are excitement, joy, and fun. Participants feel like being inside of a movie that they are the hero of. Solving the puzzles creates a sense of achievement, and because it's not possible without teamwork, it also creates camaraderie. You know what you want, bookings. But your campaign to be a success needs a message that focuses on what the customer wants. You're going for the win-win, where the customer gets what they're after, and you get that too. Since you're in the great memories business, that's exactly what your campaign message should focus on too. So now you should think about what emotional strings you would want to play on to reach your bookings target. Think about why people came to you in the past, to celebrate a birthday or their anniversary, to get together with friends just for fun, to spend meaningful time with colleagues outside of the office. Is it something else? Your message lays in there. So instead of saying something like, book an escape room after the lockdown ends, you should say something like, reunite with loved ones in an escape room. Very similar messages, but the first version focuses on what you want, whereas the second version focuses on what the customer wants. And the escape room is a vessel to achieve that. It helps them to celebrate the end of the lockdown and reunite with loved ones they've only seen through screens. So what you should do is to come up with a one-liner that answers this question. How does my product make this historic moment special for my customers? Don't worry about audience segmentation just yet. We will talk about it shortly and cover it in detail in part 3 of the series. Now you just need the top line message. Once you have the answer to this, then you can start thinking about how this will translate to different mediums. The same message looks very different as video, photo, as text or audio. And now we are going to explore how to transform your message to these mediums. Staying with our example from earlier, let's see how it translates to all these different mediums. Reunite with loved ones and escape the lockdown. You already have the text, but you should also have a longer version of it. So start elaborating on your message. Write a whole paragraph. It could be something like this. Celebrate the end of the lockdown with an escape room. Finally, it's your choice to be locked in, so grab your loved ones and escape this planet completely for an hour. Get ready, puzzle, celebrate. The longer version will help you to write newsletters, blog posts, and social posts, which we'll cover more in detail in episode 3. Now think about the usual audiences you get. Let's say your usual crowd is friend groups, families, and corporates. We will cover how to dissect your past data so you can deliver personalized marketing communication to different groups in episode 3. Also select the product that might be the most fitting for them. Then think about how your message above, both the short and the long version, can be amended slightly so it is focusing on the audience segment while you keep the gist of the original message. Then try to describe how this moment looks like for the different audiences. Something like this. A group of friends hugging each other and high-fiving after the activity in slow motion, while an uplifting piano piece is playing. Then pick an angle. How do we see them? Is it a first-person view? Is it a third-person view from a distance? Do we see them at the location or somewhere else? Are they getting ready for the activity, or is it during the activity? What is the style? Does it have a hand-drawn feel? Are we seeing actual people? And finally, figure out what this emotion sounds like. Is it uplifting music, epic music, emotional? A combination of them. This will be dictated greatly by the type of visual storyteller your brand is. Again, it's all about recreating the moment for your audience in advance. So they watch your video and go like, yeah, I want that. That's exactly how I want to feel like when I finally get together with my friends. Don't worry about the details too much just yet. We're still just laying the groundwork for the campaign. Figuring out these details early on will not only speed up your content creation, but it will bring all of it together under the same narrative, look and feel. Where will this all go? Now you have a message. You know how that message looks like as text, photo, video or audio. Now it's time to start penning out the different kinds of content pieces you will create from them. Again, don't worry about the details too much just yet, as that will be further explored in part 3 when we start personalizing your messages to your different audiences. Here all you have to do is create a list of places you can put content out for. Your website and all the different subpages on your website. The home page, the booking page, corporate page, birthday and anniversary page, etc. Your social channels like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, even TikTok if you're into that. Basically, you are creating a list of every single place you can think of that you have used before or will give a go with this campaign, and start deciding on what kind of content goes where. And lastly, before we complete this episode, let's shortly talk about the campaign schedule, which we'll discuss in much more detail in episode 4. Your reopening campaign should run at least for 4 weeks to reach full potential and have 3 phases. In phase 1, you're warming up your audience to the idea that you're reopening soon. In phase 2, you're pushing the promotional offer at full blast, and your actual reopening happens. The next episode will cover in depth what the promotional offer could be. And finally, in phase 3, you start reporting on your early visits while still pushing your offer to bring in even more bookings. If you want to save yourself at least 40 hours and have a head start, you can grab the toolkit for £97, which includes all the templates, calculators, content and schedule planner that you will need to run a stellar reopening campaign. You'll also get early access to the rest of the series, including a 5th bonus episode about how to keep the momentum going after the early rush. I've left the link below in the description. Before I sign off, let's have a quick look at what will be covered in the next episode. We will build a promotional offer using merchandise, discounts and something for those who can't return. How to strike a deal with local complementary businesses to cross-promote. We will further develop the financial calculations for the whole campaign. And finally, we will cover how your campaign translates on an operational level. If you have any questions, leave a comment or DM me here on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode and my other useful videos. Until the next one, Zolly out.